Hey, it's Brock here with Uncommon Aquatics, and today I'm going to try to tell you everything you could ever need to know about growing aquarium plants in about 5 minutes. I don't know how long it'll actually take, but my goal is to make this video as straight to the point as possible with no fluff. So I've been growing aquarium plants for over 20 years. I've tried every different method out there, and you can make this as complicated as you want. There's all different types of liquid fertilizers and dosing regimens and all these different things you can do. You can get all geeked out about lighting and CO2. My experience after a long time of loving the plants as much as I do the fish in an aquarium, what I've learned is it's mostly BS. And it can work. You can make this into a super complicated science project where you're constantly trying to dose all these different things. The problem with that, besides the learning curve and the investment, to me, it turns this, what is a magical, beautiful, natural hobby, it turns it into a job. And I just don't enjoy doing that. It's also very expensive. So let me tell you everything that I think you need to know about growing aquarium plants. Number one is, unless you're focused on Anubias and Java ferns, which are epiphyte plants that grow with their roots out of the substrate, unless you're growing those, you want to focus on putting your nutrition into your substrate, not into your water column. We do not need to be buying a bunch of chemicals and fertilizers and all kinds of garbage to put into the tank. This aquarium right here is completely filled with plants, and I did not buy a single plant. Okay, it's not completely filled yet, but it will be soon. I did not buy any plant in here. Every plant that's in this came out of another tank, not by robbing them, but by propagating. All of these plants were propagated from other tanks. So I stocked this aquarium with plants for free. And I put them into an uncycled aquarium, and every single plant in here is thriving. I put just a few pieces of this carpeting plant, and it is carpeted about a third of the width of the tank now. I've got an aquatic clover over there that's carpeting. And I'm doing all that with simplicity. So here's all you need to know. You need to pack your substrate with soil that is rich in nutrients. And then treat your aquarium like a natural habitat, and don't clean it all the time. Your plants need all of the detritus and the mulm and the dead leaves and all the things that you're tempted to clean out of it. Your plants need those things. That is their food source. And if you clean it, you're removing their food source. Now, when I say you need to put soil under the substrate, there's a bunch of people already talking about that, and I'm, building off of their teachings, like Father Fish and Diana Wallstead and Dustin's Fish Tanks, and there's even MD Fish Tanks. All these people are already using dirt under their substrate, but I'm trying to cut out all the fluff here. And when I started trying dirted aquariums, I was watching Dustin's Fish Tanks, and this was 10 or 12 years ago. And his method gave me nothing but problems. To put dirt under the tank and not cap it off properly causes you all kinds of problems, because that dirt from underneath your substrate will leach up through the substrate into your water column and foul the tank. And then what you have is like a little sludge pond. It fouls the water. But use the Father Fish method, and other people do it, but I'm going to call it the Father Fish method here. So what you do is you put down an inch of soil, and I just use potting soil most of the time. I just have organic potting soil from Lowe's, $5 bag, put down an inch of potting soil, wet it down, let it sit for 24 hours, then cap it with twice as much sand as you put down potting soil. So an inch of potting soil with 2 inches of sand on it. What that does is creates a barrier so that the nutrients from the soil don't leach out into your water column. Now that you have that barrier, those nutrients will leach halfway up through that sand, but they won't come all the way up. Now when you plant your plants, you plant them halfway into the sand. The roots grow down into that nutrition. The nutrition does not leak up into your water column, and your plants will absolutely thrive. Now this aquarium has discus in it, It's got albino corridoras, it's got bristlenose plecos, neon tetras. They're all thriving in here along with the plants, and I don't do anything to this aquarium. It's been set up for 2 months and I've done 2 partial water changes on it. Now I wanted this aquarium to have depth, so on the back side we've got more like 2 inches of dirt with 2 inches of sand on it, and that sand should have been deeper. Your sand should always be twice what the thickness of your dirt is. You can see in here where mulm and detritus has fallen down onto the aquarium and saturated in, and this is turning that sand into a rich substrate base for growing plants. I only put a few pieces of this dwarf sage in here, and it has spread all the way across here. I only put one little clump of this clover in here. It's spreading all the way across. This Amazon sword plant was a trimming off of another plant, and it's reaching the top of this aquarium. You can see on this side, we've got our dirt down here at the bottom. This is organic potting soil. Then we've got our sand layer on top of it. This is where the dirt is coming up from the bottom into the sand to feed the plants, and new dirt is forming from the top and bleeding its way down into the sand. This is nutrient rich, this is nutrient rich. That's why we're not depleted of nutrients. That sand layer will eventually be packed with nutrients because I don't clean this out of the aquarium. In the past, I spent a ton of time researching different types of lights and trying to find the perfect lights for growing aquarium plants. And you'll notice I almost don't even mention it in this video because it really doesn't make much difference. What you just saw are my super cheap Walmart LED lights. I think those light bars are like $15, and they are growing all of these plants. Aim for 5,000 on the color temperature. Make sure you've got enough light and you'll be fine. I've got some aquariums with fancy lights and some with super cheap simple lights. In 2025, it just doesn't matter anymore. So now we've got a planted tank. At that point, you mainly just leave it alone. This is a discus tank. It's got bristlenose plecos, neon tetras, albino corridoras. It's been set up for like 3 months, and I think I've done 2 water changes, but primarily I just put food in the water and I periodically drop in catappa leaves. And I let those leaves sink to the bottom and rot. And those rotting leaves cover the bottom along with uneaten food and fish waste and all those things. And they rebuild your nutrient base in your sand. When those leaves rot on the bottom, they will leach into the sand. And that's how, once the nutrients from the initial potting soil that you put in are used up, you can replenish that by adding in those leaves, the dead material, pieces of wood, anything that's going to break down in the aquarium like that. And you might think I'm crazy, but I'm just telling you what all these years of experience have taught me and what I've demonstrated in multiple aquariums here on my YouTube channel. If you want to see more of the tanks, you'll see that all of my aquariums have plants in them, and they're all thriving plants. They're all plants that are propagating and spreading. And I've got 20 aquariums in here. They all have plants in them, and I haven't bought any plants in a long time. I actually bought some at an auction just because I was there and it was fun. But when I set up a new tank, I don't buy plants for it. I take propagations out of this, like all of this carpeted across here. I can pull a bunch of that out, stick it in a new tank, and let it spread in that new tank. Then when I get another one, I take some of that out and spread it into the next tank. That's how I fill my tanks with plants. I've got all of this water lettuce up here floating at the top. That is eating nitrates out. It also, these roots collect mulm and detritus and little things out of the aquarium, and if you kind of rattle these, you'll have all kinds of particulates in the water column. And so some people would call this like a dirty aquarium. I think it's a work of art. I think it's beautiful. I think it's natural. And I think it's better for the fish. And it's a proven system to grow beautiful plants. and I'm not buying chemicals to pour in it. I'm not dosing, I'm not wasting money, I'm not wasting my time. I'm enjoying the tank. I set it up with some dirt, put sand on the dirt, packed it full of plants, packed it full of fish, and then I just watch them and enjoy the tank. Don't make it complicated. Don't waste your money. Just let it take care of itself. That's how nature works. And whether you want to call this a complete ecosystem or not, if you put the microfauna in it, your little scuds and shrimp and isopods and snails and suckerfish like your bristlenose plecos and bottom dwellers like these little cory catfish, it becomes an ecosystem with the plants and the bacteria and everything it needs to basically take care of itself. I occasionally do water changes to keep the total dissolved solids in the aquarium from building up too high. That's the only reason I do water changes. I don't need to do it for nitrates or anything like that. Now there's two problems with what I'm telling you. One is there are certain types of fish that don't tolerate being in an aquarium with plants very well. If you have the type of fish like silver dollars or severums or some types of fish, African cichlids, that eat all your plants, you're gonna have to work around that. You can have a refugium. You know, it's its own challenge. There's nothing you can do about it. If you have the type of fish that will dig all your plants out, it's not much you can do about it. If you want to grow very, very specific high demand plants, you might find a plant that doesn't thrive in this. I haven't found a plant that doesn't thrive in it. You know, I've got so many kinds of plants in here. This is dwarf Sagittarius. This is Vallisneria. I've got 3 species of cryptocorn back there. I've got a spiral Vallisneria back there. Got lots of Amazon sword plants. I think there are 3 or 4 different types of Anubias. I've got 2 kinds of Java fern. That's a cryptocorn red back in the back. Like, this thing's stocked full of all different types of plants, and all of them are thriving in this. If I find a plant that doesn't thrive in my setup, I just don't grow that plant. There are plenty that do grow here. So I tried to keep the video short, tried to cut out all the BS. If you want to waste your time and money, feel free. It's not for me. Appreciate you taking time to watch the video. Put links on the screen to a couple more of our videos. I'll see you next time.